Hi everyone, go ahead and pull out pages 457 through 460. We're going to start looking at lesson 31-3. We're going to look at the area and perimeter of regular polygons. Here we can see our learning targets are that we're going to develop a formula for the area of a regular polygon, and we're going to solve problems using perimeter and areas of regular polygons. Recall that a regular polygon is equilateral and equiangular. An apothem of a regular polygon is a perpendicular segment from a midpoint of a side of a regular polygon to the center of the circle, circumscribed about the polygon. The apothem of a regular hexagon of side S is indicated by A in the diagram. So what we know is that this right here is going to be our apothem. It comes from the center of our polygon and it's going to one of the sides of the polygon. Now it splits the sides right here equally in half. So this point S, is going to be our midpoint. If we keep scrolling down, we can now see we have a problem that we're going to approach with a regular hexagon, and we're considering it in a tabletop template. Like the picture above, part A is going to have us draw all radii from the center of the circumscribed circle to each vertex on the hexagon. So kind of just like above, what we're going to do, those dashed lines we see on our polygon above, is we're going to do that exact same thing here. So go ahead and connect your center to each of those vertexes. Try it a little bit more straighter. There we go. Perfect. All right, so we got part A done. Now think of what piece of information we know about all these links that we drew. They're all going from the center to one of the vertexes of the polygon. So all of these are kind of like radii, essentially, and they're all going to be congruent to each other. Now, part B asks us, what is the measure of each of the central angles formed by the radii? So they're asking for each of those angles around our hexagon. So instead of explaining, fully how we arrived at our answer, let's just think about this approach. We know that everything around here is 360 degrees, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 angles that we're working with. So aren't we going to be taking, the degrees of our circle, and aren't we going to be dividing it by the number of angles? That's kind of our little explanation. So we're going to be taking 360 and dividing it by 6. So lo and behold, each of those angles is going to be 60 degrees. So we could actually go ahead and label all of those. Just for this example, we don't have to do it for every single example in the future if you understand that, but that way we can see all these angles are congruent to each other. Now, jumping back to kind of something we talked about before, it says classify the triangles that are formed. Okay, well, we know each of the sides of the triangle, well, 2 out of the 3 sides is congruent to each other. So isn't this an isosceles triangle? Yeah, because 2 of the sides are going to be the same. We really don't need to measure to verify our answer because we can easily see how all of those radii are going to be the same. Now we're going to be building on with our new vocabulary in the next question with the apothem. So think of how in the picture above, we were able to draw from the center of the circle to kind of the midpoint of 2 vertices. We were able to draw the apothem. So we honestly could draw that anywhere on this picture. Like for instance, let's take the bottom triangle. We would draw a line from the center to the midpoint of 2 vertices. And look at that. We're kind of going back to this idea of triangles. So we're saying, how is this apothem, right? This line that we just drew. And let's categorize that. Let's just say letter A. How is that related to the triangles formed by the radii? Well, isn't that the height of our triangle? It is. So it is the height of our triangle. So now, part 3 says, find the area of a regular hexagon with side length of 4 feet. It says, show the calculations that led to your answer. Let's start off by zoning in on what we really drew. Let's start zoning in on that triangle. So what I'm going to do is off to the side over here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to draw that triangle so I can kind of have a little bit of a bigger picture of it. So we're going to draw that triangle kind of off to the side over here. I'm going to bridge it out over here. Now remember, we know what the top angle is. Two of the angles put together was 60 degrees. If we know it's split in half, that means this has to be 30 degrees. Wait a minute. What type of triangle is this? This is going to be a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So if they gave us, hey, a side length was 4 feet, that this whole side was 4 feet, that we know half of it is going to be 2 feet. Now, we want to find out kind of what the apothem is that's going to help us in the future, since that represents the height of our triangle. So using our 30, 60, 90 triangle, this 2 represents our short leg. We know the hypotenuse is going to be short leg times 2. And then obviously A is going to be our short leg times root 3. So it's going to be 2 times root 3 for the apothem. Now, if we're able to find the area of one of the isosceles triangles, then I bet we can find the area of the whole hexagon. Because remember, we don't want to take into consideration the circle. The circle is just to kind of help us visualize what we're looking at here. So if we want the area, let's try that again. If we want the area of one of the isosceles triangles, we know the area formula is 1/2 base times height. We know we're going to have 1/2 times our base. Remember, our whole entire base we were given here is 4. Our apothem is our height. That's 2 root 3. So when we multiply that together, and I'm going to keep it in exact form, it's 4 root 3. Now, why am I keeping it in exact form currently? Well, we're going to have to use this result to find the area of the total hexagon. So now we're going to find the area of the hexagon. And we know that's going to be taking each of the triangles areas that we found, so 4 root 3, and multiplying that by times however many triangles, which there are 6. So lo and behold, we'll get 24 root 3. And remember, this is the area, and let's just say we're looking at feet. So we're going to have feet squared. So boom, that's going to be the area of our hexagon. Nice.